So no alarm on the NovaBuses, but I'm going to do a little more of these reviews of, you know, just different models. Try to do it year by year, do different kind of, you know, point of view, observations of them. So right now we're on 2149, and you know, right now it's 2025. So these buses are about 4 years old. Ignore the alarm because the air pressure got built up, so the alarm's going to keep going until it builds up. But one of the growing issues we always have with these NovaBuses is quality issues. And there we go. But I know NovaBus builds good vehicles for different agencies, maybe in Canada, but for the 4 years, you know, the contract that we've had with all of our buses, so we got like 350 NovaBuses in our entire fleet as of 2025. And so far all of them is in revenue operation, but it's glaring issues as far as like the quality. And I can already showcase you. I'm going to showcase you from the back to from the rear to the front. And so right here, it looks like we got, I mean, I don't even know how, but somehow we got a nest, leaves and stuff going out with this. So from where the radiator, right here above this is where the radiator is coming from, that feeds into the engine. But I was just catching all kinds of, you know, vegetation from the dead trees, because it is, I was going to say it's the fall, but we approaching winter. Well, we officially in winter, but you see all the leaves and stuff that is coming out here. And of course, emergency hatch knob is missing. I mean, I can still lift up. But knob is missing. 205-4559 or visit www.great. Check out this windows too. But you got this, but this is one of the. This right here is the primary problem, and it's not just with with the buses here at Bush. It's literally every division. It's the same thing with the same issues. Is this piece right here that's cracked. If there's one thing that NovaBus that we've dreaded since having these NovaBuses, I don't know if you can see the light quality. I'm gonna try to brighten up as best I can. But the A-frame. So right here, this is the A-frame between the door and the front windshield. So right here is between the A-frame. So you say like A-frame and A1 frame or something like that, because of the quarter panel. But again, it's been the same issue with all NovaBuses where they have this cracked frame. All of them. I'm telling you, like literally 9 times out of 10, if you go to every base, you're gonna find one of these NovaBuses with these cracked frames. And this is metal. Now, what kind of metal it is, I can't really put it. I want to say it's just plastic glass, because seeing how easily it literally just breaks apart. But that literally comes from every time when we run over, and it's just how the bus is built in general. For Baltimore City streets, we literally have, if I'm doing my measurements, probably a 6 foot to 8 foot gap between the front bumper, or at least where the front of the windshield ends, to where the front tires, which will be like right here. The axle will be like right here in the middle. So right here where the front of the tires, so the wheel well. So this is about like 6 feet that we have. And that would be an example right there, just how long of an overhang it is. And if I compare that to the New Flyer, you can see the New Flyer is just literally half of that. That's where why are you calling out again? But this is where we have this problem with the NovaBuses compared to the New Flyers, is because this front overhang for the New Flyers is only about maybe 4, I want to say maybe 3 to 4 feet, maybe like 3 feet in length. But because of that short overhang, whenever we go over a bump, those front wheels is making contact, but it's absorbing all the contact. And you know, once it absorbs the contact, it drives over it like it's nothing. Compared to NovaBuses, when you drive over a bump, such as how you see with the let's see if I can zoom up. So to see, you know, seeing how when you drive over a bump, it literally becomes a rocking boat. Where when you drive over a bump, you literally have a delayed reaction, because by the time you already pass the bump as a driver, you literally still have about maybe 2.5 feet before the front wheels is making contact. But because of that, that means right after, you know, where we're sitting, once we see the bump and drive over it, the front end is already collapsing down onto the pavement. So you're going boom, boom. So the front axle is already collapsing down on the pavement, which means the front wheels is making contact late, which means the front of the bus is now, the front end of the bus where the bumper is absorbing all the contact, which is now leading to a lot of these issues where right here, and this is just a, you know, 1 or 2 panels. You got, you know, you have like 3 panels you can get up here, but this one is where we program our destination signs, or, you know, just our destination signs, but this is where the program box is. And right here is just a continuation of where the destination sign is. And you got this panel above. As you see, it's what's keeping this from falling down on us for the most part. So if I tighten this, I gotta rely on these little clips, these cheap metal clips, to prevent this whole panel from snapping down. And again, it's hold up by this tiny, this is literally the same pull string that we use on our stop request belts. The same thing. It's the same thing, and it's being held up, holding this metal panel from literally collapsing down. I mean, literally, without this panel is going for the windshield and busting the windshield. And you can see this is broke, and this is not the only one. This, I mean, literally, if I randomly go to any of these NovaBuses that's in the yard right now, I guarantee you I'll find one of these that's broken, and it's held up by one measly little metal clip. So I'm gonna grab my T key, because I can't drive with this down, but I can try to remedy a little bit. So I'm gonna have to push this panel up. So I'm gonna try to do it while holding this phone. And one of the things is, now you gotta try to find where the hook is hooking. So this is the only one right now where I don't know if I can turn the camera around, but you see where it's this little hook right here. This little hook is what's attaching to this to keep this from falling down. Now granted, this won't come down because it's also a latch. I want to say it's somewhere right over here that we push over right here. So you push back, we'll push this side. So I push back and push this side. It hooks into a latch up there. So at least this is being held up by a hook as a fail-safe, just in case this doesn't work. So in order for me to put this back out, I'm going to have to at least push this panel back into place. Well, I might have to do the opposite, where that looks like it's in place, but it's in the right position. But again, even with that rod being placed right there to hooking in place, it still has a tendency, because again, once we ride over bumps, all it takes is for, if I make an example, all it takes is for it to go boom, one bump, boom, another bump, and then boom, all of a sudden this panel will come down. The only thing keeping it from falling completely down on top of our head, because look, it's 10 feet 9 inches from where I'm standing. I'm about 5'10". This panel is about 3 inches from my head standing up. And considering the height of the panel, literally when it falls down, It's going to fall down just above my headrest. And if I'm about maybe 3 inches taller, it's smacking against the head. So literally that hook, I think it's literally just one hook that's keeping this top panel from falling down completely. But again, that hook is just a fail-safe in case these don't work. This one right here is missing the hook that you have in there. I mean, it's missing the latch that's in there. This one, the latch is broken, so I could twist this around a couple times and just no latch latching onto it. I can literally feel it and there's no latch on there. So at the moment, I hadn't tried this one, but it feels like the same thing. Look, I'm twisting. You see how easy I'm just twisting around? There's nothing latching on. So literally out of these 4, this is the only one. This is the only one that has the twist latch there as a first place mechanism to keep this panel from falling. And if that fails, I'm relying on the hook as the fail safe. But in order to do that, in order to push this panel back up, I had to push this up, lock this in place to keep this panel up. Now the problem is, even if I latch this in, try to do it at once. But even if I latch this in, you can see where even if I clip it in, like so, kind of got to do one by one. Oh shoot, sorry. I'm going to put it down. But you heard it right there. Now it's locked in place. Now you see where it's locked in place, and the frame is in place itself. But like I said, all it takes is for one good bump, and it's the same reason, the same way where this one just kind of just was floating around and it just collapsed. That one's going to do the same. What's made even worse is over time, because when you ride over these bumps and this panel collapses because this one was holding it up, it starts chewing away at the metal for this. Again, it's metal. We talking about metal. This is metal. And I literally can't explain what kind of metal it is. I mean, it's a fiberglass. It's not fiberglass. It's metal that I've never seen, that I just cannot wrap my mind around, that just get chewed away so easily by these metal clips. And these metal clips is not really all that durable, as you see here with this one. Now that one, when you push up and lock in place, it's going to lock in place until you hit a bump and shift it up. Once it hits a bump good enough and shift it up, you're going to see where it starts shifting up and slipping past this hook that's keeping it in place. Again, I'm just showing you, I didn't even get in the driver's seat yet, and this is what I'm telling you with NovaBus quality of what we have to contend with. And the fact that we got 350 of these buses and we're going to be stuck with them for the next 16, maybe next 16 years, yeah, it's a glaring problem. But one of the one of the aspects I always prefer the gooseneck microphone, because now the 25,000s, and I think every bus after that is going to have the gooseneck microphone, which means live, so you can talk into it live without the delay that you see in the new flyers. The instrument panel, and let me not even talk about the dashboard, because this one, the sun visor for the dashboard has been torn off, because I can tell you why. Because NovaBus doesn't know how to assemble a dashboard correctly. So right here, wrapping around from the bottom all the way around to the top, all the way around here, is a sun visor. The sun visor kind of just keep the sun from glaring on to the gauges and stuff. Now the problem is that sun visor is supposed to go on first, and then you put the dash over top of it. Here's what here's what NovaBus do. They put the dash panel in first with the gauges and stuff. Well, all you see with the gauges, they put that in first and then put the sun visor in last. So what do you think happens? The sun visor is supposed to go under, hook under the dash. So which means it's supposed to go first, and then you put the dash panel itself on there, and then it's supposed to keep the sun visor in place. If you just put the dash in there first and then put the sun visor last, it's literally just hanging on. And then when we gotta reach our our suspension switches, we constantly going hitting it. After a while, the first thing that breaks on that sun visor is right here, because we hitting the switches right with, because literally sun visor is literally smacked up right against the kneeling switch right here. And well, this is the operator, this is my fault, it's an on switch, but it's smacking against that, so your hands literally smacking trying to reach the switch, and after a while this screw just gives way and let that sun visor just kind of flop, and after a while you just got a sun visor just flops around like this. And once it starts doing that, you might as well just rip the whole goddamn thing out of there, because it's kind of useless at that point, because all you got is the sun visor just flopping around annoying you. Well, here's another case. My TK almost fell into the defroster vent. The defroster vent is gone. Like I'm telling you, like literally, I have not driven the bus yet, but this is what we deal with when it comes to these NovaBuses, and the fact that we have 350 of these buses, and we even approve on the order of this in the first place. Luckily, the person that made the decision retired. It is nothing against him. He's just going for whoever's the best, who was the lowest bidder. But unfortunately, that's the downside of choosing the lowest bidder, because you get the cheapest, most asinine quality you can possibly think of. Just like I said, I got a pre-trip. Because I gotta get out.